What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we can finally look at some purple One Piece cards. We've not actually seen any purple One Piece cards up to now, none have gone and been revealed, but the lovely folks over on the official Twitter have gone and revealed 4 of the purple cards. They are all from Starter Deck 4, the Kaido Starter Deck. So we might as well start off with Kaido, who is of course the leader, and that is who you are presumably building a deck around. Although I need to give you all the same warning I've given you in previous videos. We have seen literally a few cards in terms of One Piece so far. We know very, very little, and we don't have much of a comparison. You know, I can compare Kaido here to Luffy, who is literally the only other leader we've seen so far. But that really doesn't tell us that much. So I'm going to give you my impressions of the cards. I'm going to tell you what they do. I'm going to tell you what I can. But you need to bear in mind that any analysis of any of this stuff at this stage in the game is always going to be potentially flawed, because we don't have a lot of information about the One Piece card game. That is very important. Now, the translations here come from Rust Marrow over on Twitter, who has taken it upon themselves to post translations attached to the cards, and that person is awesome, and I love them. So what we've got here is a leader who's got 5,000 power, who's got 5 life, and has got a skill whereby activate main Don -7 once per turn, send up to 1 of your opponent's life to their trash. Now, we need to remind ourselves a little bit about the rules and how this works here. Activate main Don -7 means that what you need to do is take 7 cards, Don cards, in your cost area and rest them. Now, for context, the way it works at the moment is during your Don phase, you put 2 cards from your Don deck into your cost area, and you've got to rest 7 of them, but you're also sending 1 of your opponent's life to the trash. Bearing in mind, you know, we've seen 2 leaders so far, and both the leaders we've seen so far have 5 life. What is important to note is that the life is specifically written on the card. And we are told in the rules that you set life out equal to the life of your leader. So don't expect it's always going to be 5. Expect that some particularly powerful leaders are going to have less, and some weaker leaders are going to have more. And that is going to be super interesting from a deck building standpoint. Obviously, the idea that you can just take 1 of your opponent's life and just trash it is amazing. Get rid of all your opponent's life and then attack. That is one of the 2 win conditions in the game. The other win condition we've got is that your opponent is unable to draw a card. Now, or when your opponent's deck has 0 cards, I should say. I am assuming that, like in cards like Digimon and Pokemon, you don't actually lose until it's your draw phase and you're unable to draw a card. But at the moment, all we've got is that when there's 0 cards in deck. It might be that you lose the second you have 0 cards in deck. Given other card games, including games made by Bandai, I would think that's unlikely. But we don't actually know yet. That's very, very important. This seems like a super powerful skill. The rest 7 Dawn in order to actually activate it seems extremely high, but we don't actually know. There are going to be other cards that let you play other Dawn into your cost area. I mean, we don't know that for a fact, but come on, whenever they introduce a rule like this with restrictions in a card game, they always break it at some point. This seems like the kind of card where sooner or later there's going to be a broken combo. I really like this. But let's be clear, we have very limited information. For comparison, Luffy from Starter Deck 1 has 5,000 power and 5 health, which is the same, and has a skill that says, act main, once per turn, attach up to 1 rested Don to this leader, or your character. Cool. Again, we don't have enough information to really judge these. On the face of it, I like Kaido a lot more. But I don't have the information to say that with any real certainty. But we do have a couple of other characters we can have a little bit of a look at here, including Ulti. Or Uruti, I don't really know, alright? My pronunciations aren't great. I can read the Japanese characters on the card, but I'm afraid I've not watched a lot of One Piece yet. I promise you, I will get back into it. What we've got here is a 4-cost character with 5,000 power. And we've got a skill whereby when you play this, Don -1, that says you return 1 Don card to your Don deck in order to activate this effect. You may play up to 1 4-cost or lower page 1 from your hand. Now, according to OnePiece.fandom.com, page 1 is a character in One Piece, which kind of honestly makes sense, and has an affiliation with Beast Pirates, and of course, we can see that, this particular character is a Beast Pirate, and Kaido is a Beast Pirate, and of course, this is the Beast Pirate starter deck, so yeah, that makes sense. We haven't actually seen page 1 yet, so I'm afraid I can't give you any real information about this. It could be a vanilla card, in which case it's a bit less good. It could be a card of a really good play skill that you're playing for free and then getting the play skill, in which case it's phenomenal. We don't really know, but returning 1 Don card back to your deck to play a 4-cost card, this seems good. Honestly, this seems pretty good, but we don't actually know as it stands at the moment. This is one of those wait-and-see scenarios. It seems good, but like I say, it will depend on how good page 1 is. What I will say is, if page 1 is a fairly prominent character, and let's face it, it's clearly coming in the first set, so we know that there's probably going to be more. This is one of those cards to keep a lookout for in the future, because, yeah, I think at this stage we can say with a fair degree of certainty there's going to be a page 1 in the starter deck. But you know what? There's probably going to be page 1 over and over again. These characters, like we see in Dragon Ball, like we see in Digimon, that they're going to keep coming around. So even if the page 1 in the starter deck isn't quite good enough, it may well be that we get another one in the future, which is awesome. I like this. We've also got plus 2,000 as a counter, which is nice. I showed you Jinbei the other day, who doesn't have that plus 2,000 as a counter. So that seems to suggest this might be good. But again, we've seen so few cards as it stands at the moment that I really don't want to make much of a thing about it, because we don't actually know. Maybe. This could end up being really good. I really like the look of this one on the face of it, but as I keep saying, we need to hold our horses just a little bit. Now, King is coming in here as well. 6 cost, 7,000 power. So this is one of your big expensive characters. Is it worth it? Well, apparently what we've got here is a skill on play, Don -1. That is to say, like we said a moment ago, you return 1 Don card to your Don deck in order to activate the effect. KO up to 1 4-cost or lower enemy character. Well, that seems pretty good. I just showed you a 4-cost or less character. And I showed you Jinbei just a second ago, who's a 3-cost character. And sure, I showed you Luffy the other day, who's a 5-cost character. So it's not going to get all of them. But this seems pretty good. We've got a card that can play a 4-cost character for free. And then we've got a card that can get rid of, KO, a 4-cost character. When I say play it for free, I mean play it when you activate the skill. It's not actually free. You've got to return a Don to your deck. But you know what I mean. You're not actually playing it like you usually would. But I suppose free was clumsy phrasing on my part. Point is, these look like really good skills. They look super interesting. I really want to just see all 4 of the starter decks now. Once we can see all 4 of the starter decks, we're going to be able to make those comparisons a lot easier. And then finally, we can finish off with an event card. It's a 1-cost event. What we've got is Bolo Breath. And like I say, we've got a 1-cost card. It's counter, Don -1, which is to say you return 1 Don card to your deck in order to activate the effect. And what it does is up to one of your leader or characters gains plus 4,000 power for this battle. Of course, the whole point of the game is that, you're attacking characters and leaders. You can take out characters or you can take out leaders, but you're not really taking out the leader. What happens is if you attack the leader and you end up with more power, you take out one of your opponent's life, which is good. And actually, let's just clarify something I said earlier. Generally speaking, when you attack a leader and you have more power, you inflict 1 damage, which means your opponent adds a card from their life to their hand. Remember with Kaido, I did say you send an opposing life to the trash, so not only are you closer to winning the game, but your opponent doesn't get that card in their hand, and that's generally like the real bonus is, okay, fine, you lose a life, but at least you get this card in your hand. There's a bonus. That is not the case with Kaido, which makes it a better card. But to go back to Bolo Breath here, you get an extra 4,000 power, and the theory here essentially is, if you got a character you really don't want to lose, or you can't afford to give up this life right now, you just pay the 1 cost, return a Don card to your deck, and then you get that extra 4,000 power. That seems like it could be pretty impactful. 4,000 power, in the context of these characters, the leaders have 5,000 power. The big dude I've shown you so far has 7. So a fairly cheap card that can give you an extra 4 seems pretty big. And the whole point of One Piece, you've got these counter plays. We've got a whole counter step. The attacked player can activate any number of counter cards from their hand, so you get attacked and then use your counter cards to try and protect yourself. This seems like a good way to do so. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, starting to get a bit of a flavour for this purple deck. It's still too early to really start seeing the difference between red and purple and all of that, but this seems pretty cool, this seems pretty good, and I, for one, I'm becoming a bit of a fan. I like this leader, though I really wish we had all the context to judge it better. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of these cards and the game in general, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching Wasi Plays.